At the moment of death, depending on my spiritual state, when my soul departs, leaves this body, it will reach to that same dimension which will match my soul. I have come across few individuals, out of 100, I have noticed 3 to 4 individuals who would be afraid of going deeper within while they are meditating. When you just begin meditation and a stage comes where you are almost dissolving away, and somehow the system interprets as if you're going to die, but that's not going to be the death. In fact, you are transcending your own consciousness. And that's when we get a feeling that I am dissolving completely. It's like a flame which is lighted up. And, when it's moving so fast and suddenly you're afraid that because of the wind, the flame might get put off. But that's not going to happen. This fear is there in many people. I also had once a fear when I was actually replicating the process of death, which is there described in one of the yogis' books, and especially our Grandmaster Lalaji Maharaj has written what actually happens at the moment of death. And I was replicating that how from Muladhara to Swadhisthana to Manipur to this heart chakra and then Kanta chakra, things gets dissolved little by little dissolved. And then the soul escapes from the chakra that is here. They call Brahmarandra. And if you like to know about this chakra, many Jewish people, they wear that cap, that black cap, or many Hindu priests, they wear a ponytail. That's the area. But if you draw this, when you have this earlobes, the bottom part, you join the line here, and then from there you take 4 fingers above. Exactly there, that's the point where from the soul leaves the body at the moment of death, especially in people who are liberated during their lifetime. So I was withdrawing from basal plexus and allowing it to move to the heart and go. So it started actually moving, and I was almost on the last verge of escaping and leaving the body. That's when this fear crept in. Okay, what if I leave now? Body will be dropped dead, and what will happen to the family, and what will happen to me next? So I suddenly realized this and stopped this exercise. But during meditation, when we are withdrawing our attention, the consciousness into the heart, and becomes single-pointed, our habit is to remain aware 360 degrees outside. But during meditation, when the consciousness collapses within the heart, some people do find it frightening. Babuji says also a lot of things about this dying and death. In one of his books, he mentions that we should lead a life as if we are already dead, living dead condition. I recommend you to go to that particular chapter and read it again and again. Dead man has no wishes, no desires. You prepare a dead man's body for final cremation, body is not going to complain. Even if you put a lipstick on man's face, he's not going to wake up. He accepts, no choice. So he wants us also, while alive, create these conditions so that we become more accepting in nature, whatever comes in our life. That is the idea behind cultivating these conditions. Third advice, again about dying. So lead a life as if you're going to die the very next moment. And this applies a lot, at least those who are in important positions. Make sure you have your successor. In family life, if you have an industry, Identify key people who can learn it after you're gone. Otherwise, your family have chances of suffering without a proper guidance, proper authority who can run the show. Keep your insurance policies in place for the safety of family. Never take it for granted that I'm going to live forever. This is a fallacy. All of us will disappear from this planet. For sure. No one can prevent it. And yet, we never prepare ourselves. We are never ready. Always there is some unfinished work. Babuji says, don't postpone anything in life. And especially when my goal of life is at least the liberation. Why must I keep postponing, detaching myself from certain desires? If I leave behind me or carry with me these unfulfilled desires or attachment into the next life, into another dimension, that dimension will not accept me. It will send me back. It's like children in exam, in schools. You're in the 5th grade or 6th grade, or you may be in the college. If you fail, you have to recycle. You have to study all over again, reappear in the exam. Same thing in life. We keep on postponing things. Oh, I'll do this later, I'll meditate later, I'll do my cleaning later. No, it's not going to work. We have only 3 elements to this practice. Morning meditation, evening cleaning, and nighttime prayer. These are 3 fundamental things. If you omit even one element from this practice, there is 33% loss. And no business can survive with 33% everyday loss. Most of us are doing loss 100% for days together without realizing the consequence of we not practicing. So how are we going to prepare ourselves for that final moment? No point crying for the death of our dear ones. It is inevitable. Not that we're going to rejoice, but when I know that my father or my mother, it is inevitable that they will go. But when I know in my heart they are gone with peace of mind, when I know in my heart that the next moment is shaking hands with the great ones, they will be in the company of the great ones. There is so much of joy. Why do you want your parents to suffer, your dear ones to suffer? There is even greater moment waiting for us, or waiting for them. But preparation is a must. I also like to scare you a bit, which I've been scaring few of my friends now and then, but I don't know how scared you become, God knows. Perhaps you may laugh it out. But just as death is a fact, what I'm going to say is also a fact of life, which I have learned from my profession. When an antibiotic is dispensed and a patient is supposed to take it regularly, 4 times a day or twice a day, whatever will be the regimen, if you don't take it, it's not going to work. Sometimes you give a sleeping pill. Doctors prescribe sleeping pill, especially to old folks. What if you take it in the morning? The wrong timing, see. So you have to take it at an appropriate time. Yesterday we had interesting conversations with the Counseling program. One question was, can I do meditation after the cleaning? You think about everything is time-based. You cannot have lunch and dinner together. Well, of course, sometimes we do recommend that in the morning meditation, 2-3 minutes of cleaning will help if your night was too busy forming impressions. Now, when antibiotic is given, despite of taking it regularly, if it doesn't work, they give another antibiotic with higher potency. If that also doesn't work, that means the bacteria or virus is becoming resistant. then they give another one, or the combination of it. And if these antibiotics fail, then we have to pray for the patient that these no antibiotics are working and infection is now taking over the body. Death is the result. To me, Pranahuti and the help of our hierarchy is unparalleled. It is the most potent combination you can ever imagine. Masters who are ever dedicated to our welfare. Pranahuti that is always available to us. Despite of this most potent combination, if we still fail in achieving our goal, I do not think that there will be another moment in future lives as potent to deliver us into a higher dimension. So take this practice seriously, accept the help, meditate well, and progress and make our masters proud. Make your children proud, make your parents proud, make your friends proud, make them jealous that look, he's successful in all the fields. Failure would be when you're breathing our last and we start regretting, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. That's why Babuji says, prepare yourself as if you're going to die the next moment. If I have to be prepared, let's see if someone gives you a time that God is going to pick you up after 1 week, what will you do? Or if God gives you 1 hour, what will you do? Spiritual practice has to prepare us once and for all. Preparation is such, it's not like a college or school exams that whole year you don't attend the class and last few minutes you try to study it. If you're lucky, you can pass. Or if you're lucky and influential, you can get the whole questionnaire in front of you and you just mug up those questions and answer and you can pass the exams. But that is not like that. See? At the moment of death, depending on my spiritual state, when my soul departs, leaves this body, it will reach that same dimension which will match my soul. I cannot create that pure vibration at the last minute on just like a whim that, let me reach to such a 7th dimension or 8th dimension. It cannot happen. I had to be prepared from the beginning itself.